in at number 5 we have Nuckalavee. The Nuckalavee is a winter monster who dwells at the deepest depths of the sea. The monster is a type of demon. Its appearance is that of a horse, but it has the upper body of a man coming out of the middle of its back like a rider. The arms of the man-like part of the animal are large and drag along the ground with the head rolling back and forth. The man part of the beast is limp and lifeless. For the majority of the year this demon is trapped in the sea by powerful sea spirits, but during the winter it is able to rise from the water depths. The creature has no skin. All that you can see on the surface are muscle and veins. The horse mouth breathes a powerful toxic vapor. This vapor causes the living to become ill and for crops and trees to wilt. Anywhere the beast goes, a drought will follow. The demon is so dangerous many people are warned to not even say the name. If it was to be mentioned, it was to be in hushed tones followed by a prayer to protect you from the beast finding you. Well, I wish I knew that before I was saying its name at the beginning of this number. Some say the creature is responsible for all the great plagues and when people are having trouble with their livestock or harvest. If you were to see the creature, it would begin to pursue you. Once you have looked at it, there is no escape. It will be relentless in its pursuit of you. It does, however, have one weakness. As a creature of the sea and of sickness, it is unable to stand on or cross fresh water. The only escape is to find and immerse yourself in fresh water, so it has no way to reach you. Once you have done this, it should give up its pursuit. Coming in at number 4 we have Yuki-Onna. Yuki-Onna is a Japanese spirit. She is a deadly monster, also referred to as Snow Woman. It is believed that she was once a beautiful young woman who was traveling in winter. She was hit by a heavy snowstorm and perished. It is said she now brings storms and freezing temperatures with her. There have been many different stories of people having interactions with her spirit. Some say she appears to travelers to lead them astray. She offers to guide them through the storm to safety, but then leads them deeper into the storm so they pass away due to the extreme exposure to the cold. Others have seen her with a child in her arms known as Yukinko. The child wears a straw snow cloak that is traditional in Japan. Yuki-Onna will freeze anyone who attempts to take the child from her. Sometimes she even goes into people's homes. She will burst open the doors and open the windows. She'll bring the storm into their home to freeze them in their sleep. The reasons for her attacks are unknown. Some say there is no reason, that her actions are random. Others think she is not aware of her actions. She was simply cursed by the storm that took her life. There is currently no way to escape from the Snow Woman. There are stories of her showing mercy and sparing people, but why she does this we don't know. The best way to stay safe from her is to avoid any extreme weather conditions during winter, or you might just get to meet her yourself. Coming in at number 3 we have Chenoo. Chenoo bears some similarities to the Wendigo. It comes from the Wabanti tribes of the northeast of the US. The thing that many people find terrifying about the Chenoo is that it was once human. A Chenoo is created when a human being commits cannibalism or if they refuse to help feed someone who is starving. This then causes the human heart to freeze and turn to pure ice. Once this happens, they begin to change into the Chenoo. Chenoos are giant compared to their original form. Once transformed, they look like a wolf-like man with chunk of flesh missing from their body where they have eaten parts of their own flesh. It will often camouflage itself to blend in with its environment in the forest. It will stick fallen branches and leaves to its flesh. Their home is in the mountains of the far icy north. They will only venture down to the forest when hungry. They'll often come across unsuspecting campers or lost hikers. They take many lives during the winter due to tourists visiting for the ski season. Once someone has been turned into the Chenoo, there is still hope for them. There is a special medicine known only to the local tribes. If they drink it, they will vomit up the heart of the ice, and of anyone they may have consumed, and they will turn back into a man. The only other way to stop a Chenoo is to trap them. Often it's impossible to save the person they once were, as they rescue to drink the medicine once transformed. They are powerful and angry creatures. They can be almost unstoppable if you had to face them in combat. Once being human means they have the same intelligence as we do and cannot be tricked like you might be able to other beasts. The tribes often told the story of the Chenoo during winter when food was hard to find and they would often not have enough to go around. It was to deter them from turning to cannibalism to survive. Fair enough, just don't eat people. Coming in at number 2 we have Ijiarq. The Ijiarq is a powerful spirit. The story goes that they were created when they wandered too far north. They went to the coldest northern point they could reach. They say that they ended up getting caught between life and death. While they were trapped within this void, they became a shapeshifter. Having crossed the veil of the living, they were able to bend it to their will. The only thing that the shapeshifter cannot change is their blood red eyes. This is the only indicator that the person is an imposter who has changed into their current form. It's true form looks like any usual person until you see its face. Its eyes and mouth are sideways. It's said that if you were to look at it directly it will disappear, but people have seen it from the corner of their eyes and have been able to create a description from this. It is said that they target unsuspecting travelers. They will disorient them so that even if their destination was in sight, they would become lost and led far away from the path they were on. It is said they would often create and live in colonies together and will confuse those who track them down to stop anyone from entering their territory. Sometimes, however, when they choose, the living does enter their realm. They will drag the living to the realm of the undead. Many people will have had an experience with these beings and never knew it. They leave you stranded with memory loss. You will suddenly feel lost, unable to remember where you were heading in the first place. Do you think you have met one before? I probably have. I've been around. And finally, in at number 1 we have Yeti. The Yeti, or abominable snowman, is probably the first thing that you will think of when it comes to frozen creatures. Mentioned a lot in popular culture, the Yeti had quite a name for itself. Although many say that it doesn't exist, there have been many times when it's caught on camera. The creature is tall, is an ape-like being. It comes from the Himalayas in Nepal. It's covered in soft white hair, like fresh snow, as to blend in with its environment. It is known to attack if humans come across its habitat, or even wanders to local towns. The old tribes of the area used to worship the Yeti as a spirit of nature protecting the mountains. The creature is terrifying to encounter with large teeth and claws. While stood up, it towers over all the animals and humans. In the 20th century, there were many reported sightings of the creature. People were increasingly making attempts to scale the mountains to catch a sight of the Yeti. People found strange tracks or saw the creature from afar. One team even brought back hairs they claimed belonged to the animal that they had found on their investigation of the mountain. In the 1950s, the United States thought that finding the Yeti was so likely that they created a permit that you could obtain if you followed the rules it had in place. The first was that you were not allowed to look for the Yeti unless you had a permit, and the government knew when your expedition would take place. The second rule was that you were not allowed to harm the creature unless in self-defense. The third was that the Nepalese government had to approve any news reporting on the animal's discovery. Many people today still go looking for the creature, since hundreds of people go missing in the mountains each year. It's not something I would recommend any of you do. I mean, they could just be going missing because it's cold, you know? Bit of a chill. Coming in at number 5 we have Pheonix. Most people see the Pheonix as nothing more than a myth, but there have been potential sightings throughout the years that led many to believe the bird is real. Those who believe this think the bird is almost extinct due to being hunted thousands of years ago, and those left live in fear and are hiding. The Pheonix is an immortal creature. Once it comes to the end of one life cycle, it will simply be born again from its own ashes. Some say it burns to ashes at the end of its life, others claim it simply passes and decomposes before being born again. The first time that the Pheonix was recorded in history was in the 19th century. Since then, many more have told what they believe to know about the creature. Some believe that the Pheonix was a key to everlasting life or a gateway in heavenly paradise. It is now believed that this may have led to humanity attempting to contain and keep the powers for themselves, leading to the near extinction of the species. Since this, little has been known about them, and few sightings of what might be the remaining few birds. In the first text written about the creature, the author made an observation. The Pheonix outlives 9 ravens. Once people started to notice the nature of their lives, the people were unstoppable in their pursuit. There is also evidence supporting the idea that the Egyptians prayed to the sacred bird. They understood the rarity of the creature and saw it as a blessing to worship. Today, the Pheonix is often seen in books and movies. There have also been studies carried out attempting to study the existence of the animal. People will often refer to things rising from the ashes in triumph in a way a Pheonix would. It is a celebrated creature while also wildly being seen as mythical. Who knows, one day we may know even more about them. Coming in at number 4, Salamander. Salamanders are of course real. They are a group of amphibians typically characterized by their lizard-like appearance, but it is believed they were once more than just your average lizard. Time seems to have taken something from these creatures. It is believed in folklore that the creature once had an affinity with fire. It has the ability to control and create the elemental fire. They are able to sustain fire, being able to walk through or stand in it untouched by the flames. Some have claimed that during the tragedy of Pompeii, the fire salamander was the only thing that remained of the city, the only thing not destroyed by the lava. They are able to put out fire as well as starting them. Apparently they dwell in locations with high temperatures, for example within volcanoes. There are stories that come from legends of salamanders being created when glass blowers left their furnace burning for many days and nights. The lizards nearby were transformed by the flame and it became a part of them. There is a lot of evidence and claims that the salamander existed, but it's unknown if they still exist. Some people think that over time these creatures were adapted to a different climate and location and lost their ability to withstand, extinguish and control fire. Leonardo da Vinci was in particular obsessed with the creatures. He did experiments and wrote what he could about the peculiar creature. He wrote about witnessing the skin of the lizard constantly renew in the fire. He said the creature had no digestive organs and it feeds off of the heat of the flame. Some believe that the fire salamander was the last remnant from dragons. Like every other ancient creature, it either adapted to the new world or became extinct. Coming in at number 3 we have Fire Serpent. The Fire Serpent is said to be an evil entity. It chooses to represent itself as an anthropomorphic snake. It is said that the entity can travel across the sky resembling a shooting star or a fiery rocket. It will look like a blue ball of flame shooting across the sky. It is said that this creature and evil entity reveals itself at night. It is said that the giant serpent can choose any form to appear to you in, whatever it needs to appear as for you to wander into its path. As the creature is a serpent, it cannot speak or hear. It only hopes appearing as the person you love the most in the world, you'll go to it without needing any words of confirmation. It is said once you are visited by the serpent you will not remember the encounter, but you will experience weight loss and exhibit signs of insanity. Many people claim to have seen the serpent, but its terrifying existence is still something that many doubt. Those who have been driven insane by the experience are not believed about the encounter, or they simply disappear without a trace or anyone to witness the encounter. Many think that this creature is responsible for many shooting stars. It's unknown if there's just one entity or if there are multiple, but the sightings have been few and far between, suggesting it works alone. There are some Aztec statues that depict the fire serpent. This has led people to believe the creature has been on Earth far longer than we have. It seems unable to find its way back home and has had to adapt to our lives here, keeping a distance where possible. Historians believe the creature was a weapon of the sun, and they both worshipped and feared the creature. Coming in at number 2, Cherufe. The Cherufe is a humanoid creature made of rock, crystals and magma. It is said that they live deep underground in magma pools. These are mostly found deep within Chilean volcanoes. For many years, the Chilean people have blamed the creatures for causing earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. It is because of these creatures that in ancient times human sacrifices were made to volcanoes. They believed this was the only way to satiate the beast's taste for human flesh. They believed once the creature had been fed the sacrifice, the volcano would no longer erupt, or at least not until he got hungry once again. Some believe that the creature was originally created when someone fell deep into the volcano. Once they fell, something happened when the lava did not tear through their body but instead formed a hard layer outside of their skin. As they laid there, the rock layer around the skin got thicker and thicker until it was part of them. Since then they were the humanoid creature. It lost all humanity. It grew a hunger for flesh and demanded a human sacrifice. They grew angry and punished the humans if they did not show a willingness to sacrifice in the way they once did. It is said once transformed it can outlive its human counterparts. It forgets who it was and dwells in the volcanic rock for thousands of years. The human ritual of human sacrifice ended sometime in the 1960s. Each time there was a disaster they would make a sacrifice. They did this in hopes it would stop the earthquake, extreme weather or anything else. This was finally stopped in the 60s when it was recognized as barbaric. It is unknown if the creatures still dwell, causing natural disasters. Maybe the lack of sacrifice has starved them of what they needed to survive. If the theory of the creature was correct, this was stopped or slowed down the occurrence of natural disaster, so it seems it still dwells beneath the surface. And finally, in at number 1 we have dragons. It would not be a list about fire creatures if it didn't include dragons. Belief about dragons vary from place to place. They are often portrayed as winged, horned, four-legged and capable of flight. I'm sure most of you have seen or heard of a dragon before. They are one of the most popular mythical creatures to ever exist. It is believed that the teachings about dragons comes from East Asian culture. They tell stories of their deities having dragons as their personal mounts or companions. They are seen as strong creatures. They are good-natured and work with humans, not against them. The question is, are dragons 100% mythical, or are they legend born from an old truth? I'm sure there are many people who refuse to believe in dinosaurs, so it could be possible that the dragons were something that roamed the earth during or before the Triassic period. As we know, many dinosaurs were capable of flight and somewhat resemble a dragon, so it's not the most unbelievable theory in the world. There may even be evidence to support this theory. On April 1st, 1998, an article was published that revealed a discovery. They had uncovered a near-complete skeleton of a dragon-like dinosaur. They named their findings Smorg. The discovery was suspended in a jar and shocked everyone who saw it. The dragon-like creature is small enough to sit on your finger. Many believed this to be a hoax and dismissed it, but there is no doubting this little dinosaur looks like a dragon that was preserved by the earth for possibly millions of years. Coming in at number 5, we have Mahaha. Mahaha is an ice demon. Some have commented on how its name sounds like an evil laugh, but the pain this creature can bring to people is no joke. This creature looks like a humanoid. It is thin with an icy blue color to its skin. They are cold to the touch with hair that is long but frozen to ice. They are shirtless and barefoot, wearing only some ripped pants. It's not bothered by the cold and always seems to have an unnerving smile on its face. It's believed that they sometimes lure in their victims by pretending to be caught out in the cold, underdressed, turning blue from exposure. Once an unlucky victim rushes to help them, they will attack. The monster uses its long, sharp fingernails to freeze its victims. The monster is nicknamed in the sound of a laugh, as every victim is found with a twisted smile on their face. Luckily for us, it is not the smartest creature that stalks the night. Many people have been able to escape its grasp. It is said that the Mahaha has a weakness. The weakness is water. Apparently, much like how water melts ice quickly, it renders the monster unable to move. If you do encounter it, you should run to your closest river or lake. People have said you can easily trick the demon to stepping too close to the water's edge, where you can then push them down to the water depths, where they can be washed away. The water will carry them far away so you can escape and hopefully never encounter them again. When someone is frozen alive, it is said it is always because of Mahaha. They will always have a smile on their face. Coming in at number 4, we have Keelut. The Keelut looks like a hairless dog. It is said to actually be a spirit. It appears as a large canine. It is completely hairless with small tufts of fur spotted around its feet. Encounters with this creature are said to be terrifying. The creature is known to silently follow travelers late at night. When they're alone and far from home, the creature will attack. They usually travel alone and can disappear if they are startled. They will only pick off travelers who are alone. If others appear, they do not risk the attack. Once you are alone and they pursue you, there is not much you can do to escape. They can travel faster than any creature and are relentless in their pursuit. It is said that a Keelut is created when a dog is left outside in freezing temperatures. Their spirit is transformed into this creature and it looks to take revenge on people alone in the cold temperatures. If you do want to avoid the creature, you just have to make sure you never travel alone at night. If you do happen to be out late in the snow alone and you encounter the terrifying creature, there is a simple way to get rid of them before they pursue you. If you call their name, scream it as loud as you can, the creature will flee. If you make it clear you know they're stalking you, they will get spooked and disappear before they get close enough to attack. Coming in at number 3, we have Saumen Kar. Saumen Kar translates into Man of Snow. Although they look like a type of Yeti, they have many different characteristics. In appearance, the creature looks like a giant. They have some human features including their hands and feet, but they are much larger than any human. Their body is covered in white fur that blends in with the snow. They have great horns that come out of their head. They also have sharp, long teeth similar to that of a shark. It is hard to explain just how terrifying this creature looks. It would tower over any human and destroy everything in its path with ease. The monster is said to roam the frozen wasteland surrounding the North Pole. The settlements of the area respect the creature as a wise but terrifying neighbor to them who seems to attack any outsiders to the area. Some of these monsters have also been known to take an interest in human life, observing from afar. Some believe they are fearful of us and warn their kind about keeping far away from the humans. Although they don't speak our language, they do communicate with their tribe. They usually travel in family units. They are very powerful creatures with the strength to tear other animals in two with ease when in combat. They actually choose to not hunt humans. Most of their diet is fish. It's believed that the reason more is not known about the creatures is they are able to use telepathy. If they are seen on an expedition, they are able to make travelers believe they witnessed a goat or other creatures. They can change the memories and thoughts so they will never speak or see the Saumen Kar. Coming in at number 2, we have the Wendigo. The Wendigo is an evil spirit which lingers in frozen mountains. As it is harmed by fire, it chooses to only inhabit colder regions. The malevolent spirit of the Wendigo takes over over human vessels. The Wendigo can only take over a human if they resort to cannibalism. Once they have eaten another, they welcome the spirit to take over their soul. They start to change into a humanoid creature. Their arms and legs grow longer, their skin becomes tougher, their nails will turn black and fall off while all of their hair falls out. By the end of the transformation, they no longer resemble their human self, they look all the same. There may be a few indicators of the person they once were, for example any tattoos would remain or any other body alterations. Once fully transformed, they will hunt humans since they were once one. They are skilled and intelligent on the hunt. They can imitate our habits, they can even use voices of those they have taken their lives off to trick others into trusting them, luring them into a trap. When the Wendigo is approaching, you feel a sudden chill take over you. They have to maintain a freezing temperature while they are out on the hunt. It is said once you become a Wendigo, your insides freeze. Unlike the Chenoo, there is no way to save you from the transformation. Luckily for us, they are unable to come out during the day and they are fearful of fire. If you wanted to protect yourself from them, you need to stay inside at night if staying in the mountains. Many people go missing during holidays to the mountains and they are never found. Locals believe these lost souls may have become Wendigos or have been attacked by one. And finally, in at number 1 we have Jack Frost. Jack Frost is one of the most legendary figures of all time, up there with Sandman and St. Nicholas. Jack Frost is a sprite-like creature responsible for the changing of the seasons. He brings the ice, snow, and freezing cold temperatures. Jack Frost was not always an ice creature though. He started out as a human like you or me. It is believed he lived as a human near the beginning of the 1400s. It was due to tragic circumstances that he was given his power and the ability to control the frost. It is not known exactly what happened to him as a boy, but he fell under a sheet of ice. Unable to find his way out while he was under there and close to passing away, he was found by a demon and given these powers. He becomes immortal with the capability to manipulate ice and snow. It's not known if he is evil, neutral, or sometimes maybe good, but he has been known to do some cruel things with his abilities. As we all know, ice can be very dangerous, and it's said that if you slip on black ice or are nearly impaled by a falling icicle, he is to blame. He plays with the elements for his own amusement, even causing people to perish due to this, just as he did as a mortal. Some believe he does this due to his loneliness. Being immortal is often seen more of a curse than a blessing. He is bitter that he has long lost anyone he knew in his mortal life. He does sometimes have fun and try to play having snowball fights, but between his fun he performs some dark and evil acts that cause suffering for everyone around the world.